Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and the craft/dining room. Today I have a card project that shows you a bunch of very simple techniques that are doable if you break them down step by step. This video also ran on the Simon Says Stamp YouTube channel. So if you think you've seen this one before, I just told you. One of the things I like to preach in crafting is simplify the process, break things down into doable chunks, and practice. In this video, we are going to stamp, emboss, ink blend, and die cut. But it's all very simple. It's a great way to build your card making confidence. So I am gearing this more towards beginners, but hopefully even you seasoned vets will find a little inspiration. So stick around. That card project is coming up next. So here's a look at the card I'll be creating in this video. It is the epitome of clean and simple. But the fun part about this card is there are a lot of techniques that go into it, but I am keeping all of them extremely simple. So if you consider yourself a beginner, I consider this project designed just for you. Let's take a look at the products I'm using today. Here is the chunky Christmas stamp set, and there are coordinating dies that I will be using today. I've also got some embossing ink from Simon Says Stamp and a few distress ink colors as well. I've got some clear embossing powder and some pre-printed sentiment strips for the project, and I'll be using a little white cardstock today in Neenah Solar White in the 110-pound weight. I've also got a few blender brushes from Simon Says Stamp, and we'll have a few other products that make their appearance as we go. I'm going to start out today using my MISTI tool because I just want a quick and easy way to get really nice impressions of my tree graphic. So I'll pick it up with the MISTI door and position my cardstock. And this is a brand new stamp that I have never used before, so it's always a good idea to just kind of rub off the coating. There's always a coating from manufacturing. These stamps do get conditioned over time, but that's just a tip for you to get a great impression. Also, embossing magic. I'm laying down that powder so that when I stamp down my clear sticky ink, the powder only sticks to where I am stamping. So I'll go ahead and press down. I like to use a Swiffer cloth and just the side of my hand to apply nice even pressure on the MISTI door. And I'm going to stamp this twice each time just to get a great coating of ink. Then I'll move my paper about 1.5 inches, make sure there's clearance there for my next tree, and I will repeat, stamping the tree down twice. And again, the beauty of the MISTI is it lets you do that in the exact same place. For the third image, I was going to squeeze it in there, but then I thought, it's a little close. So I just flipped my cardstock over, pressed it down to the starting position, and that worked just fine. Because I'm going to be cutting these out, they don't have to all be facing the same way. So getting that stamp down, and I'll hit it twice. And then I'll add my clear embossing powder. Now, I've only recently started going for clear embossing powder when I am doing emboss resist, and I usually do white, but I really like how clear works as well. It preserves that white cardstock underneath, and this seems to work great. I really love this powder. I'll hit it twice, let it sit there, and then just tap off the excess. I'll get my heat tool nice and hot before I bring it to the paper, and then quickly melt that powder until it is all smooth and shiny. I also like to use a clothespin. I learned this from my friend Gina K of Gina K Designs because then my fingers don't get burned, and that's a good thing. I'm going to cut these apart before ink blending. That way I don't have to worry about masking. I don't have to worry about ink getting where it shouldn't be. And I will load up my brush with my first color, which is Twisted Citron, and apply. Now this is the emboss resist, of course, because where I have stamped and embossed, the powder that is now smooth and shiny, it resists the ink and allows this image to show through, which is basically the white cardstock below. So once you blend it on, then you take a paper towel and just wipe over it. Not too hard, not too soft, but what it will do is it will remove any pooled ink that is on the embossed area. I love this technique with one ink color for beginner ink blenders because I think ink blending is tricky. I have been card making since 2017, and only this year do I feel more confident. Part of the reason I feel more confident, blender brushes. They make a huge difference in my ability to add ink to a project, and I'm also really getting a feel for how to go from dark to light. I'm getting better at it, and if I can learn how to do this, friends, you can too. Ah, they look great. I created a template out of some lighter weight white cardstock to frame out my tree. Now this is actually not hard to cut out, but this is just a really great tip for getting great cuts because you can pop your die right back into that opening. You almost feel it lock into place. And I'll run that through my Gemini Junior off camera to reveal an awesomely cut tree. Just like that. And I will repeat that for the other two trees off camera. I'm going to use one of these pre-printed sentiments. I love sentiment strips because there's no stamping, there's no embossing, the type is crisp, and there's lots to choose from on these sets. This is a Christmas theme. Now we print these on white cardstock, so what you might want to do is just take a dark pen and go over the edge just to give it that look of being printed on black cardstock. It's super easy. You don't have to do it, but I always do. Looks great. Now I decided to use the little square on my mat to line everything up, kind of how I want my trees to be. And I learned this little trick from Laura Basson, Miss Laura Fedora herself. When you get something lined up, pick it up with some low-tack adhesive. This is just Post-it tape. Then you can flip multiple things over that are already lined up and good to go and add your foam dots or whatever kind of dimensional adhesive or even just liquid glue or however you're planning to adhere them to your project. I've never done this before with tape and it works great. Next, we need to create a card base. So this will be a US A2, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to have this be a landscape card. Give that a good press down with my bone folder. And then I'll tape it closed because this cardstock is 110 pound and it tends to want to pop up. And I will bring in my T-square, line up my trees, and pop them down onto the card base. When I peel that tape back, look at that. Ah, it was miraculous to me. Now to add my sentiment, I've got foam squares, but I decided to put a little liquid adhesive on the foam squares just to give me a little wiggle room to get it exactly in place and then press down. And that is it. I really love this simple, minimal design, but you can also see how it's a great chance to practice a little stamping, a little embossing, a little ink blending, die cutting, and boom, you've just created a beautiful holiday card that anyone would be happy to receive. Anyway, that is the finished card project, and I love how it turned out. And I also love the fact that, again, you can take any of your inks, do your stamping, do your embossing, just practice your ink blending. Try to get that blend to go from dark to light because you're only using a single color. I hope this inspires you to keep it simple, and I will see you back here soon with another card video. Soon. Thanks so much for watching today. I would love to have you become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. And if you do subscribe, be sure to hit the gray bell below the video so that you don't miss the next time I post. Here are a couple other videos that you might be interested in watching. Thanks so much and have a great day.